So now we are moving to more general questions. Uh, so now in general category, my first question is from Praveen Bansal from Focalist. So his question is, considering the high cost, should we build an internal tech team for our technology solutions, or should we engage external agencies until our go-to-market strategy is validated and revenue streams are established?
So it entirely depends, right? I mean, various businesses create value in different ways. For example, if it's a one-time effort, you can outsource it and get it done because you don't need that skill or that capability in-house. If that effort is core to your intellectual property and you want to preserve that intellectual property, you may not have a choice but to build your own team. And in general, it's not necessarily cheaper to get it done from outside. At that point in time, more often than not, to get the same outcome, you'll be paying a little bit more. It's just that you're not paying to somebody who will have to be sustained for a very long period of time. So therefore, that's usually it is going to be more expensive, right? I mean, the same outcome by outsourcing is going to be more expensive. It's just that it's less liability also.
We have another question from Ritu Jain, Srishti Consulting. What were the primary challenges you faced while scaling your team from a few initial members to its current size?
Many challenges actually in our country on and so far as technology is concerned, I think there is very less hands-on experience available right out of college. And even when you look at corporates, the ability to peel layers in technology is very difficult. And while I may talk a lot about building core technology in the country, it is hard to find people who can peel the layers, who can dig 2 layers deeper in the science. And I usually tell and discuss with the team that ultimately the test of a technologist is when something fails, because in debugging is where the real depth of understanding gets revealed. Otherwise, you tend to build a bunch of things from experience, and that's something that can just work or not work. But to really to get it to work, and I've never seen anything work first time right, is where the depth gets revealed. So therefore, uh, finding that quality of talent has always been very challenging, and there is no easy way, but one has to have that knack of being able to understand if somebody can peel the layers or not. So I think that's most critical as far as tech is concerned. And I think tech is where there is a real challenge of hiring. I think most of the other skills may be possible to get, at least proxy skills that are not very challenging to get. I mean, of course, there are certain specialized skills that you will not get elsewise as well, but tech genuinely is a big problem. Even though we have a very large pool of engineering, in most companies, people with experience have not peeled enough layers for them to be useful in a startup environment, because we don't have luxury of a large team that will sequentially dig into things. So it's challenging. One has to build that ability to judge if people can peel the layers or not. And then, of course, in general, I think there is a very common expression that says that one usually hires for skill and fires for aptitude. So it'll be so hires for aptitude and fires for attitude. So I think checking the attitude is equally important as far as hiring is concerned.
So, Ankit, I have this last question coming from, if I can represent the entire incubation space and incubation ecosystem. So this is a question from entire incubation space to you, Ankit, CEO of IdeaForge, the pioneer, the first company coming from an incubator, incubated at IIT Bombay and having an IPO. So from incubation to IPO, you are a pioneer. You are the first company. So the question is, how important is the role of incubation center in shaping your startup's journey? How can a startup best utilize its strength with an incubation center?
So, many people might feel that, once incubated, even though we do share equity with incubators in more often than not cases, many people would believe that they are entitled to a good experience. Um, But honestly, I consider whatever the stage of the business is, right? Anything good that happens to us is a privilege, and that privilege is something you can just build upon instead of looking at what you do not have as a privilege. Looking at what you have as a privilege is, I think, more important, and therefore I tend to see the glass half full rather than half empty in more often than not cases. And our own experience with incubator at IIT Bombay was that in those early days of incubation, had they not had the attitude that they had with respect to not being very uh, I would say particular about when you pay the rent, or not being very particular about showing progress. Sometimes technology is very challenging, right? You won't have unsolved problems in physics and maths for hundreds of years if they were solvable easily, right? So they will get solved when they will get solved sometime. And those are the vagaries of doing something innovative, right? So I think that patience and a space where you are not at the threat of getting kicked out was a huge, I would say, peace of mind for us, right? And the second piece was that you had somebody you could just go and talk to about your problems, right? Somebody who will just be a good listening ear, and they are interested in helping you rather than judging you. I think that matters a lot when it comes to the experience, right? If everyone's out there to judge you, who do you go and share your genuine problems with, right? So I would treat an incubator like that. That's what we did, right? We would just go and sit in front of Poini ma'am, and we'll just say, ki, ma'am, this is what it is. And there may be no solution at the end of the conversation, but just expressing sometimes, helps tremendously to make for somebody to tell you that this is not your only problem. It's not only you who has this problem. Somebody else also has this problem, because they have that view कि यार चार लोगों को same चीज हो रही है. So that also is very comforting. So it's how you use that ecosystem, right? Obviously there is a lot of media visibility. There are a lot of things. Fun part is that you guys all saw our drone in the movie Three Idiots. Why did Three Idiots happen? Because there was an article that got published because Mumbai Mirror was interacting with Sign, and they saw that there is a team in IIT Bombay that's building a drone, flying it in the LT lawns. So they came and they published a shot of one of my team members flying that drone. Now that got the attention of a celebrity, and then they recommended us, and that's how our drone landed up in the movie Three Idiots. So, I mean, something as simple and silly as that is, meaningful in the long run for the company, right? So, I think I think thinking of it as a privilege and building on it is I think the right perhaps approach to have a healthy relationship and to drive the maximum benefit out of an incubation process or relationship. Otherwise, I have seen a lot of expectation mismatches, and there's only as much that anybody can do for your business, right? Beyond a point, it's our hard work and our destiny.
Right. Ankit. Thank you so much for your answer.